effective if you as the agent give the proper, complete advice. You see, unfortunately, we as agents sometimes, we are very anxious to close a sale. So if this person wants to appoint his sister as a nominee quickly, that is not a major issue for us. At the point of closing the sale, we put the sister's name as nominee. Thinking in our mind, later we will advise him to do a will or do an assignment. But very often we overlook that part. The policyholders also overlook. And then until it's too late. Are you following me? Believe me, I repeat, the system is very beautiful. If they changed the law 8 years ago, it's done with a lot of research. You have taken the law from Australia, UK, and Singapore, and actually improved on all these systems. From my knowledge of awareness, they have improved on the law in other countries to make the payment fast, as well as to make sure it can go to the right persons. But to do that, we as an insurance agent have a responsibility to make sure that the paperwork is all properly done. Are you following me? The paperwork is all properly done. Nothing is incomplete without the paperwork being done. You all know this. You have seen this signboard in the toilet rooms. Nothing is complete until the paperwork is done. Slow, you guys. Go away. EPF question, yes, sir. The nominee has received the money. Can you give instructions in the will for the nominee to distribute the money? Cannot. Very simple question again. In the will, you give instruction for nominee. The EPF Act says the nominee received the money, and there's no duty of the nominee to distribute the money. So you all should know all this. You see, now we have to step outside the insurance industry to understand this. All these rules which I'm talking to you is in the EPF Act. Some areas similar to this, but that part to distribute, there is no obligation or direction for the nominee to distribute. Now, EPF is a very good example where people, very careless in financial planning. Because many of people, if they appoint nominees, they appoint when they start work before they get married. All right? And then they don't change it. Out of 10.8 million EPF contributors, I think still today, about 7 million, no nominees, man. No nominees, despite all the, promotion and advertisement. Those fellows who have done nominees have not updated their nominees. So still mother, father, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, still nominee there. Are you following me? So this is sometimes also very sad. And you have this kind of cases. A problem bigger than in the insurance industry. This applies to non-Muslims. As far as Muslims are concerned, EPF nominees, they will also receive the money. But it is their duty to distribute money. Whether they do, they don't do, that is the story we talked about earlier. All right? Yes, sir.
Are the EPF money payables to nominees creditors proof?
Now, when we talk about creditor proof, we come back to this story of, when a person becomes bankrupt. Okay, that's my next topic. I will talk along with that for a while, Alvin, don't mind. First of all, to answer your question, I'll answer your question. Your question again is, EPF money paid to the nominee, is it creditor proof? That means the contributor has passed away. And at the time of death, he is bankrupt. Is that the point? Isn't it? He got dead, but he's passed away. The answer to your question is EPF money creditor proof? The answer is no. The answer is no. Let me digress that further. If I am declared a bankrupt today,
He may not be a bankruptcy,
Wait first. If I am declared a bankrupt today, all my assets are taken up. You remember I told you that? All my assets can be seized, including cash value of my trust policies can be taken. Do you all remember this point? The only assets that the courts cannot seize is my money in the EPF account. While I'm alive, the EPF Act says even though if I'm declared bankrupt, the courts cannot, the official assignee, that's the person responsible to seize all my assets, he cannot write to the EPF and ask them to give the EPF money. During my lifetime, the EPF monies are creditor protected. But upon my death, although there is a nominee whom they pay the money to, that asset is considered, EPF money is considered part of my estate for the purposes of creditors who want to lay a claim on it. For the purposes of creditor. Did you all follow me? So upon my death, if I happen to die, even before I declared bankruptcy, All right? Because my creditor waiting for me to pay him. Upon my death, he realized that he better start legal action. If not, somebody take the money and run away. So he started legal action, and he proceed with the legal action to declare my estate bankrupt. So whoever received the money is entitled to settle this debt. So he's obligated to settle this debt. I repeat, EPF money upon death considered part of my estate for creditor purposes. Are you all clear? Okay. Now, a little bit about bankruptcy. That's a little last point I want to talk upon. Very quickly, without going into details again. Generally, when a person, owes creditors, the creditors may wait for a while, and when they feel they're not going to get their money back or some other reason, they may start a legal proceeding against you. And the final part of legal proceeding against you is to declare you bankrupt. All right? And to declare you bankrupt, once a person is declared bankrupt, who declares you bankrupt? The court must declare you bankrupt. So don't call anybody a bankrupt until he's declared by the court. If you call somebody bankrupt because he did not pay your debts, he can take a legal action against you for defamation, by the way. So you only call somebody bankrupt if the court has declared him bankrupt. All right, are you all following me? Very quickly here. If the court has declared somebody bankrupt, the court will appoint an officer to take charge of your assets. That means his job is to go and trace and locate all your assets and use all your assets to distribute among the creditors in a fair manner as possible. All right? This, of course, takes over a period of time. And as I've told you earlier, he is entitled to go after all your assets, except, since you're still alive, except your money in the EPF. All other assets which have got any value, he can go after it. It's his discretion, by the way, in most cases, without going into detail, his discretion. Now, one step further. If during the last 2 years before your bankruptcy, if you have passed, some people, I'm going to be financially got problem, I transfer my house to my wife. People try to do that. Or to my sister. If you try to do that, that's why I put there the 2 years rule. Any asset you transfer away during the last 2 years as a gift or simple transfer, they can declare that asset considered still to be yours. That means the official assignee can still take those assets to settle the creditors. Are you following me so far? Now, any assets more than 2 years but less than 5 years, that's why I put that as a 5-year rule, is subject. They also have a discretion to take it back, depending on your situation when you transfer those assets, what was your financial standing when you transferred those assets. So when people ask me this type of questions to make it simple, and I advise you to do the same, if I transfer any assets, if I assign my insurance policy absolutely before bankruptcy, can the creditors, can the official assignee still take it? My answer to this question is this. If the absolute assignment was done less than 5 years before bankruptcy, the official assignee can still take the cash value if he wants, to make it simple. So any transfer done less than 5 years, cash values of such a policy, up to the official assignee, they may want to take it. But in many cases, a person who's bankrupt, the insurance policy cash value are small, the official assignee just leave it alone. This is what we see in practice. Okay, so that was a very quick view about bankruptcy with regards to insurance policies. Now, yes sir, we got about 10 minutes. My session is until 10:30, isn't it? Okay, so we got about 10 minutes. Now I will leave it to question time, and I will use your question to expand on the issue. Is that okay, everybody? Okay, question, sir. 2 years, if you transfer anything, the transfer is considered void. If it's sold for full consideration, they will try to trace the money. So you have a $300,000 house, you sold it, they ask you whom you sold it to, show me the sales and purchase agreement, show me where this money was credited, such transfer, you have bank transfer, lawyers' records, show me. So he said, yeah, this is the money, transferred, put in a bank account, but so many people were chasing me, I was desperate, I went to Genting Highlands, I tried to make more money out of this 300,000, but you know what happened? That 300,000 also gone. Yeah, no receipt. Where go Genting Highlands will give you receipt? So if you say like that, they cannot do anything to you also. Actually, you have put the money in a briefcase, took it to Brisbane. You say, want to buy property lah. airport authorities caught you there. But you say, I don't know the law, I don't understand English. Actually, your money is in overseas, in Australia somewhere, Gold Coast. You bought apartment in Gold Coast, 300,000 can buy. Now, I'm no election coming, I cannot talk like this. Okay, question. Have I answered your question, sir? Did you all understand the question? So the official assignee, you try to trace all your assets. A lot of people transfer their assets overseas, hide this person name. People are very creative. They get away, good luck to them. That's why I see many people so-called bankrupt. By the way, in Malaysia right now, there are about 105,000 people declared bankrupt who have not discharged themselves. But you see many of them in good houses, good cars, running a business. This is a problem, I must tell you. Running a business, you go to them, see them in the office, big, beautiful office. Everybody call him manager, but he is not a manager. He's not in the payroll. He's not a shareholder. He's not a partner. He's not a director. He's not an employee. He got no official position in the company. But he's the brains behind the business registered in his wife's name. Are you all following me? So you think, oh, good prospect, you go and sell him. The rascal didn't tell you he's a bankrupt. Such a contract can be void. Such a policy can be considered void. Just let you know. Okay, question.
You mentioned just now that the OA can touch all the assets and properties except EPF and money.
Yes. While he's still in the EPF account.
Yeah, no, EPF and his money.
What do you mean his money?
If I can hear you properly just now,
Yeah.
you said that the OA cannot touch the EPF money and his
No.
money.
His money in the EPF lah. Only what is in the EPF account, the OA cannot ask for it. Properties overseas, we have no laws that compel you to, the OA to trace those things. Even under his name, how to trace and how to get those things.
Karuna, earlier you asked you about...
Oh, who's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, earlier I asked you about the disadvantage.
Disadvantage
yeah.
of the nomination system.
Yeah, the new act,
Yeah, the disadvantage, sorry, I did not highlight that, but I thought I mentioned it in passing, is people don't do the proper paperwork. And therefore, it relates to family disputes. Remember, I told you the examples, right? The system is good, but if you don't do it, the paperwork, there come to a lot of family disputes. And again, the beneficiaries, like children, are not going to fight with the parents. I had one case, this Muslim family, the father was named as the nominee. Father is 78 years old. He has received the money from the insurance company. He is supposed to give something to the wife and the children. The father is 78 years old. You know what is the father saying? Okay, I got the money. You want, you sue lah. Talk like that. No? Old man talk like that. So widow and the children, you want to sue this man, you take him to court. You are lucky if the case is settled within 5 years. Are you following me? Old man is 78 years old talking like that. You want, you sue lah. In my office, he's talking like that. What do you want me to do? You understand? Because you are not properly advised. If you did not advise them, this kind of issues are coming up nowadays. So the advantage is they pay out the money fast. The disadvantage is this type of family problems arise because we as insurance agents did not give them the full advice or complete the paperwork. Have I answered your question, Brother Raghu? Obviously I have. He has left the room. A will does not supersede the EPF nomination. As far as the EPF is concerned, they have nothing to do with the will. So will is for other assets. Question? Regarding the 2 years rule for bankruptcy, genuine case means like what Dr. Paul Naidu said just now, transfer for money, yes? No, genuine case, the person who the property was sold to, he can keep the property, the official assignment will go after the money. So you got to, genuine means you must say it was sold at the market value, there's an agreement, there was records of transaction, so all this to prove that it's genuine. So they don't consider the sale void, but they go up, they try to trace the money. Transfer as a gift in that sense. then it can be considered void. It is considered void within the 2 years. Fraud can be proven where? Which point? Are we talking about property or talking about insurance policy or what now? Within the 2 years rule, if you transfer as a gift, no need to prove fraud. No need to prove fraud. It's what they call absolutely void. No need to prove anything. If it is transfer like a gift to my wife within the 2 years, it's considered void. 5 years also no need to prove fraud. 5 years rule is slightly different. He said at the time of transfer, let's say I transferred 4 years ago. At that time I was already financial, got problem already. Then it also can be considered void. If that time it's proven I was financially sound, then they won't take that, they won't consider that transfer void. They can consider it void, yes. Yes. I'm trying very hard not to go into detail.
One question, what happens if a non-Muslim converted to a Muslim and his nominees were actually nominated to
a non-Muslim converted to a Muslim.
And he got married.
And at the time of death, he was a Muslim.
At the time of death, yes, he was a Muslim.
The law according for Muslims will apply. Have I answered the question?
All right.
Okay.
And then the
wife is a non-Muslim. In this country, a Muslim cannot have a non-Muslim wife. As far as Islamic law is concerned, if the wife does not convert with him to Muslim and then marry according to Islamic rights, she is not considered wife. So there are many men who convert to Muslim without telling their family. So the wife is considered automatically divorced. Now these are the issues that we come across. Now again I explain, I am talking with this kind of conviction because from the experience I have. All right? Besides all this training, a lot of people bring this kind of disputes to me. If I can handle it, I will handle it. If I say no chance, I will, like just now I told you, no chance, don't waste your time fighting it. Because the law does not protect you in any way. If there are no more questions, I thank you again for coming. I'm greatly honored that you are here. I will be around if you have any further questions. Thank you very much. Now, just in mention, I know all speakers promote their books. I have written a book. If you feel like buying it, it's sold outside at $28. Many of you I know have already got it, but that tells you some of these things that we talked about. Okay? Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.